citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity and progress for our nations.
On 25th August 1966, 500,000 students across Singapore recited the National Pledge for the very first time. It was a defining moment in the history of the country, as the pledge was the first official public document that was shared by all who lived in Singapore. Among these students were a group of boys and some of their teachers who could still recall the day when they said the pledge together as a school.
The children were all very well disciplined that day. As you can see from the video clip, they were all in straight lines and they were very serious when they were saying the pledge. In those days, it was easier to get them to stand straight and straight lines. They were really in straight lines and you see them marching off even. But nowadays, I think you ask the boys to march off and they'll look at you and think, are you serious, Mrs. Shears? We have to march.
Colleen Shears was all of 19 years old in 1966. She started teaching the year before, and it was her first job straight out of school.
But of course, the hand position has changed. Prior to that was this action. Then I remember it being this way, and my principal remembers it being this way. And now it's currently here, which is more meaningful, I think.
Today, Mrs. Shears is still in touch with many of the former students of St. Michael's Primary School in Essex Road. One of them is Sitaraman Mani.
You know how many times we had to stand there?
Sitaraman Mani was just 8 years old and in Primary 3 then, but these images brought back memories as clearly as if they had happened yesterday.
That time it was Radio and Television Singapore. So they came to film. So they filmed us like about 62,000 times. But the only thing I remember is after that, whenever RTS came online every morning or evening at that time, they started at 5, they played the Majula. So we would appear for I think a good 2 years or so. Then they put something on. So I remember that very well.
Among the boys standing on the field is a familiar face to Singaporeans, someone whom his former classmates called by his first name, Chi Hian. Whenever these old St. Michael's boys get together, there's always laughter and good times, just like today. We invited them back to the site of their former school to view this short black and white video clip and reminisce about their childhood and their thoughts on the pledge.
Flag raising, you were the one who put the flag. Why was that?
I was head prefect. That's why head prefects do. They're also tall enough. If I remember, I think we all took it very seriously because we knew it was a serious occasion. And we knew that, you guys are coming to film us, so I think we took it all very seriously. All of us were probably very nervous.
I think it was Mr. Eva's
I think so. Mr. Eva saying it, because we weren't told, right? Mr. Eva's own.
Right?
I always remember, regardless of race, language, or religion.
He reflects very well all that we hold dear to us, Singaporeans. And I remember now that Flex has taken its present form where we put our right hand to our chest, I think in a way, Singapore is where our heart belongs.
Anthony Tung taught general subjects like maths, English and science, but specialized in physical education. The day they recited the pledge is still vivid to him.
We were just told by the school principal that, we have to learn the pledge and we have to teach the pledge. And that was it. We didn't know that it was coming, or all of a sudden there was this thing that happened. When I was looking through the words in the pledge, at that time, of course, we thought that is a pledge, and so it is to build nationalism and to be very proud of your own country.
Rakyat yang bersatu padu, tidak kira apa bangsa, bahasa atau agama, berikrar untuk membina suatu masyarakat yang berdasarkan kepada keadilan dan kesamaan untuk mencapai or something like that. Yeah, so we said it in Malay.
I think for me, this school in a way reflected the pledge because regardless of race, language or religion, we were all one. We had, we had Christian, Catholics, Hindus, we had Muslims, but it didn't matter to us. It reflected friendship, it reflected brotherhood. Even today, after all these years, we're all still friends.
I think the pledge reflects who we were at that time and who we are now. It still stands. And then the pledge goes on to say what we must do as a nation.
I think the pledge, as a Singaporean, I'd say the pledge is a living document for us. It is a reflection of us as a people. And I think what we as a country, and of course we have our issues and this, but to a large extent, we have kept to the principles of that pledge, especially racial harmony, equality for all, general happiness and progress.
The pledge also came at a time very early in our history, when people in Singapore got their first inkling of what it meant to be independent. This was the first National Day Parade in 1966. 23,000 men, women and children participated in the National Day Parade, and an estimated 350,000 people came to celebrate the nation's first birthday. The event was also covered on national television.
Early on, large crowds gathered to catch a glimpse of them, and every vantage point was quickly occupied. And soon they came into view, our own defence forces, followed by the naval and police contingents. A stirring sight, and a precision performance that was greeted warmly by the citizens. It was the first time that they had had a chance, after a big parade, to see the participants march through the streets so that they could see them at close quarters. They lined the roads, watching carefully, and they were well satisfied. The Defence Force had passed the most critical test, public examination, as an integrated, disciplined corpus.
For Mr. Teng, saying the pledge was an affirmation of what it meant to be truly independent.
As a teacher and as a Singaporean at that time, being the first time that was introduced, of course, you feel very proud that my country has come to a stage where we are now a nation. That's where the subject of loyalty, of the pride that you are in a country, you are the citizen, and you are a member of the World Organization, you feel very proud that you are recognized. It is this pride that we have in us that makes us move further to achieve what we want to do. And that's why we have the pledge to tell us, okay, we are living in a place, a very new nation, after the British has pulled out, and we have to build our own country. And that's why you could feel it at that time when it was introduced.
1, 2, 3.
We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for our nation.
I think we were very proud today that we were the people who said the pledge first. It gives you a very good feeling that of your loyalty to the country. Because without a pledge, I don't know how are we going to identify ourselves.
Looking back 40 years, 50 years, that outcome has been realized. And what we need to do is to continue to make it realizable. I think that is the great thrust of that pledge. And looking back on history and time, we have done what the pledge has asked us to do.
For this St. Michael's boy, the pledge becomes even more important when it is seen within the context of the racial tensions he had witnessed as a child.
I recall seeing the national servicemen being deployed with the police for the first time, and I was telling my friends, this is no joke, those are automatic weapons.
Can you speak louder? Yeah.
Yeah, the racial riots were for real. I had relatives in Malaysia, and when I saw our national servicemen being deployed, it was something that really, really struck me, because it wasn't just a matter of play. This one is really pray. Because if anything went wrong, Singapore would really go up in flames. So yes, the racial harmony was more than words.
The racial riots of 1964 are not something that could be easily forgotten, especially when you lived through the experience. Errol Goodenough was 17 when these riots took place.
Although we were teenagers, we sort of like had front row seats, from which we watched the very crucial developments in Singapore.